But should you play WoW Cataclysm Classic? So, I mean, the title kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? This is the green screen man himself. His edits are absolutely, they're just on point. I've been watching a bunch of his videos in the past. We have been watching them together on stream as well. And we haven't really seen one in the last few weeks though, to be fair, because we've been doing just so much working, like so much shoveling. And getting no epics for it, by the way. Just shoveling, and we're getting nothing. Like, come on, man. Yeah, dude, John. Actually, man. EU here as well, he used to be on Parwood, Mirage Raceway now. Oh my, you did the opposite way. I'm on Parwood, bro. Come back. Parwood is great.
Look, there's no way to hide it. Season of Discovery feels like it's fading fast. As much hype and fun as it's been, it's starting to become an endless grind. And it feels like Cataclysm's trying to steal our attention away with its endless possibilities. With the community divided, players have a real choice to face. We either embrace Cataclysm or keep playing SoD. What do we do? We've got to start at the beginning. Season of Discovery originally launched on November 30th, 2023. It was originally met with mixed reactions from fans who simply wanted fresh classic servers. But this...
The reaction to Season of Discovery, by the way, because we once again watched that on stream as well when they unveiled this, people were so mad, and I said this, just chill, let them elaborate, and people started out by being mad, and over the course of 1 hour of Blizzard elaborating, 99% of those people went to being super happy, and just being super excited. It was just a really roller coaster of emotions of what was happening over then. Like, that was, yeah, it was kind of fun. Let them cook, actually, let them cook.
Despite the tepid reception, it quickly showed some promise.
Yeah.
The gated level bans meant everybody was together at level 25, doing the same dungeons, the same quests, the same raids. The low barrier...
I will say, like, the level banded content, Phase 1 was absolute peak. I think with all of the drop-offs we've had over time, we just will not have another Phase 1 again. Phase 1 was the peak. I can't see us going over, like, getting to all the point of a different... like better time. To me, Phase 1 was just peak.
Barrier to entry meant it was really easy to make new characters and to experiment with the rune system. As proof of the success in Phase 1, just look at the raid data.
Yeah, there we go.
In many ways, this felt like the launch of a full new expansion. We were pulling all-nighters in BFT, blasting Warsong Gulch all day long. That feeling of discovery was really alive and well. But as players were spending their time in what Blizzard would consider to be Classic Plus, they were really spending less and less time in Wrath of the Lich King as well. Once Arthas was finally slain, you gotta check out these ICC numbers.
Let's see, overall classic / TBC. Ooh. Wait, what happened 2021? 0520. That was an expansion release, wasn't it? I was like, is that TBC? Am I being stupid? I mean, the Wrath numbers though, they speak levels, like the peak of Classic, which you know exactly when this was, 490,000. That was just like average Wrath numbers for quite a while. Yeah, we went to like 595. Oh my days.
Numbers. They just kept dropping and dropping. Players didn't really have one specific problem with Wrath of the Lich King. It was minor things, maybe the main reason being burnout, but week after week after week, players started to quit. And even Phase 5...
Oh yeah, dude, why is my video lagging?
The new Ruby Sanctum raid came and went without really much hype. Here was Halion, arguably as epic as any Ice Crown Citadel fight. And much of the player base was just too busy with Season of Discovery to even care. So by April 2024, it was really starting to look like Blizzard's vision of Classic Plus might well be the future of Classic. But those epic adventures...
The edits of Jerome videos, they're so good. They're so good.
...of discovery and plunder in Blizzard's Classic Plus, they started to fade by Phase 3. The number one reason being likely that as the level bands pushed higher and higher, the time commitment to hit max level also increased. Reaching level 25 really wasn't much of a problem for most people, but reaching level 40, now that was a little bit more of a challenge. And reaching level 50, that was a downright slog for some people. And Blizzard's big Classic Plus idea with incursions, For some players, it helped somewhat, and for others, it disastrously harmed the game. Then there were countless other controversial decisions they made as well. The choice to ban GDKPs in Phase 2 was praised by some, but others vowed to leave the game and never return.
Oh no.
And despite positive reception to the new Sunken Temple raid, the switch from 10 to 20
we lost the RMTers, boys.
Raiders on the outside looking in. Things definitely haven't been any less controversial in the PvP community either. There have been near weekly attempts to fix player versus player imbalances, and there's no real solution in sight. So whether you're still in the group loving Classic WoW, or if you're feeling a little bit burnt out right now, the reality is that the positive honeymoon phase around Season of Discovery is definitely over.
Yeah.
Communication between the devs and the players is definitely slowed, though in fairness, the culprit might just be some untimely vacations. Community complaints are definitely at an all-time high though, and streamers and content creators have been moving away from the mode for the first time recently. Meanwhile, there's this hot new thing on the block, and his name is Deathwing.
Ooh.
Blizzard has fired up a direct competitor to Season of Discovery in the new Cataclysm Classic. Just look at Twitter. Blizzard's pulling out all the stops with giveaways, even a free weekend. Seriously guys, when's the last time you remember getting a free weekend in WoW? So if you're a die-hard fan of Season of Discovery like I am, it doesn't necessarily feel great that our game's being put to the side in favor of Cataclysm.
It really doesn't, but as someone who's played both, this goes both ways. Do you remember when the Cataclysm pre-patch launched? It felt like Blizzard had put in no work since releasing the beta or the public test realm, which to me probably says that they were focusing all their resources, literally every single resource, on Season of Discovery. Because when the pre-patch came out, fish was flying in the air in Gilneas because they forgot to put in water. And there was some people where you were swimming in the air as well because they forgot to put in water. Even now, the Headless Horseman mount still doesn't have a flying animation. It's swimming in the air. We have the whole Justice Points fiasco of people buying heirlooms, refunding the Justice Points but still keeping the heirlooms, and therefore buying all of the heirlooms without spending Justice Points, because you could buy one, get it into your collection, refund, and keep this process going. And those people, the ones that exploited this, they still have those heirlooms, didn't get them taken away from them. We have the honor point fiasco where you could do the same thing, buy an honor piece, get it into your transmog collection, refund the piece, boom, there we go. There's even some things that you can do by using the Blizzard item restoration right now, which I'm not gonna get into because that is borderline game breaking, but you can go and use the item restoration on their own page using a Blizzard system. Using a Blizzard system to break a Blizzard game. Those are just a couple of the bugs, by the way. Just like, even when the pre-patch came out, a couple of classes were missing their abilities, their core abilities, and you would have to go to your Professions tab to find some of your abilities. Professions tab to find some of them. I feel like it goes both ways. Like, now the efforts might be on Cataclysm, and well deserved. For a while, they just couldn't give less of a shit about Cataclysm, and devoted 99.99% of their singular developer to Season of Discovery, instead of Cataclysm. It's about time that Cata gets some love as well.
Cataclysm Classic. But that does beg the ultimate question. Maybe we should just be playing Cataclysm Classic. The start of Cata really is considered to be a major peak. Ample new dungeons, a well-received raid tier with new bosses like Onyxia 2. And you've got to admit that the launch of a new mode really is hype. The rush of hundreds of thousands of players working towards the same goals at the same time. No waiting around, just not.
Oh yeah, it's super hype, dude. Me on 1,000+ troll solos and not having Sin Rock, I'm having the time of my life, bro. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Stop dungeons, raids, professions. From the time you wake up until the time you go to bed is 6 in the morning. There are also those community events that give you that you had to be there feeling. The world first races, crafting legendaries first on your server, devs spawning giant eyeball bosses in the middle of Stormwind. Beyond the events, there's also just a ton of content to explore and enjoy. Exploring the map as a Classic fan is really cool. You're rediscovering all these new areas like the redesigned Barrens. Hillsbrad is just crazy now, I mean look at it. And hey, going back to classic raids like Blackwing Descent, later on going to Firelands for the achievements, the legendary loot like Terragosa's Rest. I never did that stuff as a kid. It's pretty enticing for me to go back. But let's go back to the alternative option here for a minute. Season of Discovery is still here, and abandoning it might just be a massive mistake. For one thing, Season of Discovery's got this once-in-a-lifetime content to experience. It's not just a Sunken Temple raid either.
Nej.
When Phase 3 is over, you'll never experience the same DPS meta, the same rotation, the same economy. And you can only get your biz in Phase 3 one time, and the clock is ticking. Beyond the exclusives, there's also Phase 4 on the horizon too.
Oh.
Likely to be the most hype phase of them all. We're going to be slaying Ragnaros in the newly modified 20-man Molten Core. We're also going to be blasting through endgame dungeons like Stratholme with all our new runes. We're even going to be crafting legendary Thunder Furies and doing epic class quests like Rock Delar. And I know everybody's excited for all...
I feel like Blizzard did a massive mistake in Season of Discovery, in which they everyone could see this coming from a mile away. But I think 20-man raids are good, by the way, instead of 40-man. But they should have made them from the start. They should have committed to either 10-man or 20-man from the beginning. Because what's happened here is that guilds were formed around 10-man content at the start. And then we had the transition from 10-man to 20-man in Phase 3. Which, I mean, just look at the numbers and tell me how many of your guilds in chat, for example, has dissolved because of this. How many guilds are struggling because we had to like go from having 10-man raids to having 20-man raids. It's also just because of the way we, like, when you have a 10-man raid, you still want to have 2 tanks, 2 healers, and probably 6 DPS, just using those numbers, even though BFT could be solo tankable. Using those numbers, you will have 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 6 DPS. Swapping this over to 20-man content, if you merge 2 guilds together, suddenly you have 4 tanks, 4 healers, and 4 tanks, 4 healers, and 12 DPS. Now 2 of these tanks that have been tanking and have been, their mindset has been on being a tank, they now have to be DPS instead. So it's just like, you make things so difficult instead of just committing to either 10-man or 20-man for the whole season. I don't understand. Just make one of them, make the decision, have it from Phase 1. That way we can start forming our guilds based on one thing, and keep that going.
Track Valley, the ranking, the new gear sets, maybe even some new epic PvP gear. But to get the most out of Phase 4, players are going to have to prep even during Cataclysm. Players are going to have to level new alts with the newly buffed leveling speed. They're going to have to farm gold, they're going to have to make key investments. I mean, considering how expensive the Bis Darkmoon decks were in Phase 3, I think you want to go into Phase 4 with your gold reserves really stocked up. It'd be pretty awesome to get the new epic gear Blizzard adds in the new raids. And players really are speculating heavily on which raids might drop our new epic loot. Would you want to see a new Scarlet Monastery raid? Maybe Karazhan Crypts? Well, I'm just saying, if you abandon Season of Discovery, you're gonna miss all of that. But back to Cataclysm Classic. It is here right now, and potential new raids in Season of Discovery are months down the road. The wave of cataclysmic hype is making Season of Discovery fans feel abandoned, even left behind. But some savvy players are looking at this turbulent time in Classic as the ultimate gift from Blizzard. See, some optimistic gamers are actually predicting Blizzard is secretly timing Cataclysm and Season of Discovery together. Past releases were definitely stacked together. Shadowlands and Phase 6 of Classic, for example. But it feels like finally WoW is giving us this chance to play both games and switch between them. We get this month and a half of exciting, hype Cataclysm raids and dungeons. And that's followed immediately by Phase 4. All our favorite classic WoW moments, crafting the legendary Thunder Fury, Ultrak Valley Trench Warfare. So a plan of action for a WoW player that wants to get the most out of Classic does seem to include experiencing the full excitement and the hype of Cata. But while you're busy getting that full bis, you're clearing Blackwing Descent Heroic, you could be taking some breaks to do Alchemy Transmute and SoD. Maybe you could take a night off of Cata to level a new ult in Phase 4. Or you could work on pre-quests so you can blast to level 60 as fast as possible. Cataclysm's arrived, and it's taking the spotlight for the foreseeable future. With the massively reworked zones, the new races, the new raids, Cata's kinda on fire right now. But Vanilla WoW is still alive too. Whether you're farming your Blade of Eternal Darkness on your Rogue, or you're achieving your first ever legendary in Hardcore WoW. And for the first time ever, Blizzard's timing things out so we can play both games without even having to make a choice. There's hope and there's optimism to believe there's never been a better time to be a classic WoW fan. In the meantime, there's never been a better time to stick with me and to subscribe for more guides on all things classic WoW.
Yeah.
And click on the screen right now to watch my last-minute pre-patch prep guide.
There we go, Jerome, good video. A lot of gnome kicking in this video, but really good video as per usual. I really enjoyed that one. I really enjoy hearing both about Seasonal Discovery and Cataclysm. Like, to me, I feel like I get it, but at the same time, Cataclysm was neglected for so long, even working on bugs that was reported in the pre-patch, or not pre-patch, but like public test realm and beta. They just didn't do anything, because they were busy working on Seasonal Discovery. So right now, Cataclysm does deserve the spotlight. The video, really banging, really good edits. I do love the edits every single time, just the green screen man himself. Absolutely fantastic. I do think, with that being said, it's time to get back to work, huh? It's time to pick up the shovel, and it's time to get back to work. As per usual, I'm going to be linking the video as well, so anyone who tuned into the stream in the middle of me watching the video, and you want to see the entire thing, you will have the option to do so. So I'll be linking the video, we'll be going back to work, and we'll be getting those epics. I have faith. Let me give you guys the link as well.